Hey guys, WikiGuy97 here, and I just want to say that this is my first video, so I apologize if the quality isn't great, but I'm new at this. Anyway, today I want to talk about Baby Newton and Baby Beethoven to an extent, and why I believe that they were originally going to have Legends and Lore puppets. First, let's talk about Baby Newton's pre-release history. Baby Newton was first teased in early 2001 alongside Baby Doolittle Neighborhood Animals, Baby Doolittle World Animals, the Baby Einstein Playskool toys, and the Baby Einstein related books in the Coming Soon segment in the early 2001 booklet. It's very clear that Baby Newton was very early in development, as it was originally planned to go over both shapes and numbers at the time, and none of the other things listed had been finished or released yet. It's also important to note that it was scheduled for a fall 2001 release. Fast forward to March 1st, 2001, and Baby Newton was already being advertised on Baby Einstein's official website. The box art even seems to be pretty close to the final version, with the subtitle All About Shapes already being present. And yes, I know that other pieces of media show it having the subtitle Shapes in Motion, though both names were most likely being considered at the same time before they settled on its final name. Anyway, even 3 of the Vivaldi tracks featured in the video were already finished or at least mostly completed and released on the Playtime Classics CD in early 2001, so it seemed like Baby Newton was doing great early on in development and was still planned for a fall 2001 release. Fast forward again to September and October of 2001, and everything originally teased with Baby Newton had been released. No updates had been given on Baby Newton, though it was still being advertised on the front page of Baby Einstein's website. It seemed like Baby Newton was very close to release and was going to make the fall 2001 deadline as promised. So what the happened? Since we don't have any 2001 archives of Baby Einstein's website past September, we don't know if any updates had been given on Baby Newton's release. However, we can go to the earliest 2002 archive on January 24th and see that Baby Newton had been moved to the Coming Attractions section and is no longer being advertised on the shop icon. In the Coming Attractions page, Baby Newton's new release date is confirmed to be March of 2002, and on March 12, 2002, or at least around that time, Baby Newton was finally released. So now that we went over Baby Newton's pre-release history, we can ask ourselves one question. What caused Baby Newton to get delayed? And I think it was because of having to replace the previously planned Legends and Lore puppets. Think about it. Baby Newton was in development at the same time as both Doolittle videos, which did include Legends and Lore puppets. There also didn't seem to be any plans of replacing the Legends and Lore puppets until the last second when the video was almost finished. So what happened that made Julie Clark replace the Legends and Lore puppets at the worst time possible? Well, I don't think Julie Clark wanted this to happen. After all, she seemed to have a pretty good relationship with Legends and Lore at the time. I think another greedy corporation was the reason behind the decision, and you know who I'm talking about. The Baby Einstein Company was officially sold to Disney on November 7th, 2002, which was when Baby Newton was almost ready to be released. As you know, Disney is the reason a majority of things about the Baby Einstein Company changed, and I think the switch to playsuit puppets was one of them, especially when the first new video released under their name is also the first video to use the new puppets. From a timeline perspective, it all adds up, as the new puppet manufacturer had to be decided, the new puppets had to be designed and made, all the puppet shows needed to be refilmed, and the video had to be re-edited with the new puppet shows intact. There's no way all that could have been done before the end of fall 2001, and I believe that's why the video ended up getting delayed. Now, believe it or not, I actually have more evidence to support my theory on Newton having Legends and Lore puppets. My second piece of evidence involves the Legends and Lore replica puppets made by Disney. No, not the cheap, crappy bootleg-looking ones made by Kids 2, but the ones before that. The ones they released were mostly the hosts of the videos up to Numbers Nursery, but also the cow, horse, and duck since they were popular characters. And since all the hosts had been released, we have puppets for Isaac the Lion and Beethoven the Giraffe, which could have been inspired by their original Legends and Lore counterparts like the rest of them. Though you could say that isn't the case since both of them are nearly identical to their Legends and Lore counterparts, with just a piece of rainbow felt being added to Roaring Lion, and George's the giraffe's color being changed to better match Beethoven the Giraffe's. Plus, there's also the fact that a puppet based on Bonkers the Turtle exists for Baby Neptune, and an entirely unique puppet for Galileo the Kangaroo exists as well. However, since this puppet more closely resembles the Isaac the Lion on the official cover of Baby Newton, and since Baby Beethoven may have been in the early stages of development before Disney took over, I think these are what the original Legends and Lore puppets were going to look like. Our next piece of evidence involves the Animal Discovery cards. Now I know what you're thinking, but WikiGuy, the Animal Discovery cards have nothing to do with Baby Newton. They were made with the Baby Doolittle videos in mind, and to that I have to say, you're absolutely correct. But there's one detail about them that helps my case. During the credits in both the 2001 and 2002 releases of both Doolittle videos, an earlier cover design for the flashcards can be seen. The only difference is that the duck is colored yellow with blue hair, like the duck that appeared in Neighborhood Animals, whereas the final release colors the duck green and blue to go along with Vivaldi the duck. It's likely that this change was done to help promote Baby Newton, as Vivaldi the duck was probably going to be one of the Legends and Lore puppets to appear in the video. It also makes more sense considering the yellow duck was the one who appeared in Neighborhood Animals, and Vivaldi the duck has nothing to do with either of the Doolittle videos. And finally, our last piece of evidence once again involves Vivaldi the duck. Notice how on the cover for the Animal Discovery cards and on the cover for Playtime Classics that he's wearing a red scarf? Well, who do we know that wears a red scarf in Baby Newton? Even so, after Baby Newton, Vivaldi the duck was never seen wearing the red scarf again, not even on his own CD cover. Instead, the red scarf was only seen on the yellow duck after that. Now, if you really want to argue, you can say that the yellow duck was wearing the red scarf on the early cover for the Animal Discovery cards, like how he wears it in Baby Newton. Though I think they were only doing that to have the yellow duck on the cover, since that was the one that appeared in Neighborhood Animals, and to also promote Baby Newton, but they ended up scrapping that idea and just put Vivaldi on there to better promote Baby Newton, which made more sense considering the yellow duck never wore the red scarf in Neighborhood Animals. There's also a possibility that the Yellow Duck Legends and Lore puppet was planned to appear in Baby Newton with the red scarf early on in development, but he ended up getting replaced by Vivaldi the duck, and the scarf was given to him in return. Now that I've concluded that Baby Newton and probably Baby Beethoven were originally planned to have Legends and Lore puppets, let's talk about which ones were originally going to appear in the videos. Now, I highly doubt that the characters who appeared in the final version of Baby Newton and Baby Beethoven were going to be the ones who appeared in the Legends and Lore versions of the videos. The only reason those characters were chosen to be made into playsuit puppets was because they were the most popular characters at the time who were easy enough to be redesigned to look nothing like their original counterparts, while still conveying that they are the same character. You see, when Disney first bought Baby Einstein, they didn't own the rights to the Legends and Lore characters, so they tried to cover them up as much as possible before they got the official rights to them. That's why Bard doesn't appear at the end of the video tutorial in 2002. If you compare the playsuit puppets to their original Legends and Lore counterparts, then you can see that the playsuit versions look like bootleg characters, and like I said before, those were the ones who were easy enough to distinguish themselves from the Legends and Lore puppets. The reason they didn't make more popular characters like Bart or Van Gogh into playsuit puppets is because they would have been too hard to make distinguishable from their Legends and Lore counterparts without having them look like completely different characters. So that begs the question, which original cast of characters did the playsuit puppets replace? Well, I think the characters who were going to be in Baby Newton are most likely going to be new characters who haven't been seen in any videos yet. If you look at all the Legends and Lore puppets who appeared in the videos, you'll notice how most of them only appeared once. The only exceptions to this are Bard, Morris Moose, Misty Mouse, Cud Cow, Duck, and Jane the Monkey. So it's highly likely that most or all of the characters who are going to appear were going to be first appearances. Then again, it might have had mostly reused characters considering most of the puppets have nothing to do with shapes. So with all that out of the way, let's predict who would have appeared in Baby Newton. We know that the Isaac Lion puppet would have appeared since he was always the host of the video before the switch to playsuit. We also know that a new Vivaldi duck puppet wearing a red scarf is going to appear in the video. There's also a chance that the normal Ducky Duck puppet was going to appear in the video as well. It might have originally taken the place of the Vivaldi duck puppet early on before getting replaced. If that's the case, we know it would have worn the red scarf, and it might have even been originally planned to be the Vivaldi duck character himself before taking that idea to the Mallard we know of today. Though there's still a chance that it would have appeared without the scarf alongside the Mallard version. After all, Baby Newton has two duck characters in the final video. though that may have been because they didn't have enough puppets and they had to reuse the duck puppet twice, but it's still possible that both Legends and Lore duck puppets would have appeared together. Now for the other characters who would have appeared, we have absolutely no idea who they were going to be. Since no information was given on who was going to be in Baby Newton before the switch to Play Soup, we can't guess who else was planned to be in the video. We could look at the other Legends and Lore puppets on their website and guess, but they might have also used another puppet who was discontinued before and not on their website. This happened with the Tan Reindeer, who was brought back from discontinuation, redesigned, and put in the video. If Baby Santa didn't exist, we wouldn't know about the existence of the Tan Reindeer at all. And even if they didn't bring back a discontinued puppet, they still could have made a new color variation like they did for Bok the Rabbit. And even if they didn't do that, they could have made an entirely new puppet that didn't exist beforehand like they did with the Yellow Duck. And even if they were going to use all puppets that already existed beforehand, minus Vivaldi, we still have absolutely no idea who else they were going to use. The same goes for Baby Beethoven, but the only puppet we know they would have used was going to be the orange giraffe. I'm sorry that I don't know who else would have appeared. Trust me, I wish I did, but at least we know about the ones we know about. Well, there it is. That's all the evidence I could get on why I believe Baby Newton and Baby Beethoven were originally planned to include Legends and Lore puppets. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Tell me in the comments below. Well, I'll see you guys whenever I make another video. I don't know when that is, but it'll probably happen eventually. See you later.